During the 98-day session, about halfway through, we purchased the Gold Mountain Monastery, the first one. We were sitting maybe 30 people in the Buddhist lecture hall, and you could tell there was a lot of kind of boring or just really wanting to get up and do something. So the master was great at that. So he said, when we bought the Gold Mountain, he said, anybody who wants to can leave the session and go and help renovate Gold Mountain, because it was an old mattress factory and it was filthy and we had to clean it up. Almost everybody left. So it was one monk and me and a laywoman. Finally, it got down to just that. And Shifu said, you should just quit and come over there. And we didn't want to quit. He said, well, you don't have anything to eat. So I went in the kitchen and I found a soybean, a whole bag of soybean, and a whole bag of flour. And I knew how to cook, so I said, we can make it. We can have bean soup and can make different things with the flour, bread or whatever. So the master let us do that. When it ended, I was the only one who hadn't left the Buddhist lecture hall. Somewhere along the line, Hung Jing and Ruth Eberle, her name was, she and he decided they'd like to go on Sunday and hear Shifu's talks. So they would go back and forth, and I didn't go, I stayed. So I was the only one who stayed. So when the time came, I took the bus over to Gold Mountain and met the master. He was sitting with Hung Jing at the time. So one of the only times Shifu praised me. And he said, "我欢喜你." And I found that very strange as an American. To me, that meant I like you. And that wasn't exactly what you thought about Shifu saying about you, but I guess it must have the meaning in something like, you pleased me, or something like that. That's one of the only times I remember where I got out of Shifu's mouth some praise. And then he told me my job was going to be to pick up the excess pieces of wood and store them in the attic. So that's what I did all day. And then at night, he told me I had to take the buses back to Buddhist lecture hall so that I could light incense for the Buddhas in the evening and in the morning, and then take the bus back. So I did that. And at that time, I vowed that I would recite 108 Great Compassion mantras a day. And I thought, well, I'll do that while I'm moving wood, but often I would forget. So by the time I got on the bus to come home, I'd have a pile of mantras that I had to say before I could go to sleep, So it was good because I recited on the buses and between transfers, and I finally got home. If I wasn't done, I vowed that I was going to finish them before I slept, and Shifu would call me. There isn't anybody else that could have been on the phone but Shifu. He would call me, and I was so stubborn that I wouldn't answer the phone because I hadn't finished my Great Compassion mantras. And so if I had 15 mantras to go, the phone would ring for all 15 mantras. Until finally, I was all done with my mantras, and I would pick up the phone and say, hello? And he would say, oh, Guxiu, and then talk to me as if nothing had happened, that he hadn't been sitting there ringing the phone for 45 minutes while I finished my mantras. And I loved that because I didn't laugh and he didn't laugh, and we never discussed the fact that I was a recalcitrant disciple who refused to answer the phone when she knew very well it was her teacher. He never scolded me for it, and he did it over and over again, and I did it over and over again.
How do you know it's your phone?
It couldn't have been anybody else. Nobody had that phone number. But it was done with a sense of humor, the whole phone call thing. Never did he say, why don't you answer your phone for your master? Nothing, not a word. And yet we're both sitting there, giggling on the other end because the phone's been ringing for 45 minutes. I pick it up as if nothing was going on, and he answers as if nothing is going on. I love that kind of humor.
And 会在骂我，想要打我，他会一口把你们吃了。
It's said that the
你可以看。